Welcome to Nta Ch10 News. I am Oluwabukola Akonde. The news in details. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has distributed free agricultural inputs and equipment to smallholder farmers in Niger State as part of its effort to achieve all year-round farming, enhance food production, economic growth, as well as ensure food and nutrition security. The minister disclosed this during the flag-off ceremony of the distribution of free agricultural inputs and equipment to cooperate smallholders farmers, including women, youth, and people with special needs. Dr. Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi revealed that the free distribution of farm inputs to smallholder farmers is one of the many robust policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration aimed at supporting year-round farming in Nigeria to build resilient and sustainable agricultural ecosystems that would ensure food sovereignty. The imperativeness to include safety as an aspect of learning in primary schools and tertiary institutions across the country has been emphasized. The President Saver Global Institution, Wilson Akpikpo, stated this at the World Safety Organization's International Conference held in Lagos State. Uwambufowoye has the details.
The conference avails participants the opportunities for training and empowerment in various areas of risk management and environmental safety, management systems, safety and emergency response for effective emergencies, management in addition to designing standard systems for sustainable growth management.
Our ambassadors are empowered to organize workshops, seminars, and the rest of stuff, even in their environment, in the churches, in the mosque, in the marketplace, wherever you find yourself. Once you are a safer ambassador, your job and your assignment is to make sure you preach the message of safety, and even emergency response. If somebody around you collapses, do you know what to do?
With World Safety Nigeria, we have joined together to have a very fruitful organization that's looking at how safety has become so much important in everyday life. We want to send this information to everybody across the group.
First point is advocacy. Second is also on professional development. We come together as a group of people interested in the field of FEMS. We actually say FEMS, which is public health, emergency response, emergency management, and and environmental sustainability.
The management system standard is what will help you achieve promotion of resilience, occupational safety and health, governance, risk management, and environmental safety.
Safer Global Institute, SGI, associated with World Safety Organization, WSO, which stands for Safety, Emergency Response Readiness, Health, Security, Environment, and Sustainability, also inducted some members into various cadres and formal affiliation.
We must start from the grassroots. We must work with other partner agencies and institutions to see how safety becomes a part of our educational curriculum. And so that way we can build not just ambassadors at later age, but build them from the scratch.
We have been inducted not just to start bearing the name fellows, but we've been called by this act of induction into, the business of promoting health and safety in all spheres of life.
Prolific and more safety bodies should come up in Nigeria, but they should all come and queue behind ISPON so that we can accredit them and know what they want to teach Nigerians and what they are telling Nigerians as it concerns safety.
It is expected that the Safer Global Institute, with its relentless effort, is on track to making safety a way of life for healthier society and not a reactive phenomenon. In Lagos, Uwambufowoye, Nta News.
Government says it will continue to ensure that all federal road projects nationwide get adequate attention in meeting with targeted scheduled time of its completion. Minister of Works David Umahi gave this assurance while inspecting the level of work done on the coastal highway. Larry Belei has the details.
The 4 road projects dear to President Bola Tinubu's administration called legacy projects are the 1,068 kilometers Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, 477 kilometer Trans-Saharan Highway traversing Calabar and Boyi, Kogi, Benue, Nasarawa, and the FCT, and the 422 kilometer Akwanga-Jos Bauchi Gombe Expressway, as well as the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, where the minister is monitoring the level of work done in controlling the ocean surge.
And the minister emphasized the importance of this legacy project, and it's going to be a loop that will connect almost all other 4 legacy projects in the country.
No damage to any of the completed section. What you can have is this massive sand filling that we are doing, and then the stone base, and until it is covered, the rain is permitted, to do whatever it wants to do. But in all, it does help us technically. And again, we have only 2.5 kilometers, that we are tackling, which is also a very terrible, swamp. The next 40 days it will be completed, and you will see that the entire section is linked up, some filling wise.
David Umahi revealed that the Surveyor General of the Federation has been mandated to work with the Governors and Ministry of Works to acquire land along the corridors of these legacy road projects across the Federation to ensure return of investment. In Lagos, Larry Belei, Nta News.
Live on Nta Lagos Channel 10. Now let's take a break. After the short timeout, the news continues. Please stay tuned.
Do you have goods to ship across Africa and Asia without breaking the bank? Then sail with Clarion Shipping West Africa Limited, your trusted gateway to the world. At Clarion Shipping, we clear, deliver and handle your import and export with speed, expertise and unbeatable rates, smooth processes, flexible charges, right on schedule. We operate from Lekki Deep Sea Port, Apapa, Tinkan, One, Calabar, Cotonou, Lomé, Ghana and Cameroon, with offices in Nigeria and China. Call us today in Nigeria on +234 810 449 1289 or email info@cswald.com, and in China on +861 896 314 6688 or email robin0909-2025@qq.com. At Clarion Shipping West Africa Limited, we move your world one shipment at a time.
Solar Maltings Limited presents glucose syrup. Glucose syrup, lemon corn, into a liquefied sugar of natural origin. The most sought after glucose syrup by commercial food production companies as a introduction of candy, beer, and certain canned food, and pre-made baked goods like biscuit and cookies. Solar Maltings Glucose Syrup. It's made by Solar Maltings Limited. Solar Maltings Glucose Syrup, king in liquefied sugar.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching Nta Lagos Channel 10 News. Mental health has been described as a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stresses of life and for them to also realize their abilities with a view to contributing to that community. So in this discussion segment of the news, my colleague Deborah Akingbenyi Agwola had a discussion with a consultant psychologist on the societal impact on mental health. Please, let's join her.
What are we talking about? Thank you very much for this very important question. So, mental health is a state of cognitive, psychological, and also emotional well-being of an individual. Not just absence of diseases or infirmity, but the actual state of mind of a person that determines the general well-being of that individual. Because you cannot see the mental faculty of anybody. You can't see the mind of somebody. You can't even see the brain of the person. So that's why we usually look at mental health based on the behavior of this person, the cognitive aspects, the psychological aspects, and the behavioral aspects of this person. So those are the things we look at when we talk about mental health.
Okay, what are the manifestation of somebody that is the state of the mental health is not that 100%?
Absolutely. There are several signs and symptoms that we see. So the individual might show some symptoms and the doctor might elicit some signs in this person. Part of the things you see, somebody who is having mental health, is this disorientation from normal well-being. The person may start to have sleepless nights, which we call insomnia. This person may start having loss of appetite, which we call anorexia, because the person is depressed. So part of it is called depression. So we as doctors might say, okay, this person or this patient is having depression. Another one may be anxiety. The person might become agitated. The person might be aggressive. The person might easily get angry when there's any issue. So we can say this person is having anxiety. Then there's a time the person can have a combination of both. Okay. We call it bipolar affective disorder. Bipolar means both. Okay. In English, you can say the person is having mania. Okay. Another aspect again.
Is it different from madness?
Yes. Madness is a general English term.
Okay.
So, misconception, and that is why it's a stigma. In the world now, over 1 billion people have a problem relating to mental health illness.
So maybe from that I should ask, what are the causes of mental health issues?
The causes are very broad, but we can classify them under physical causes. We can classify some under medical causes. We can classify others under psychological. Part of the physical causes, okay, imagine a woman who is undergoing domestic violence in her marriage. Her husband is always abusing her, beating her, even blaming her for not having a child. If she has a child, the husband says, the child does not look like me. You went to bring a bastard to the home. And she starts to get depressed. You give birth to a child, the child does not look like the father. The woman starts to get depressed, even from the onset. Also gender selection. The man wants a male child. The woman has given birth to 5 children, all girls. The man says, no, there's something wrong with you. And he doesn't know that the men are the ones that determine the gender of a baby. Yes. So all this can give the woman mental health illness or mental disorder. That is why, by statistics, more women suffer from mental health than men. And more women tend to be thinking of suicide more than men. But more men get damaged from this mental health disorder than women.
How?
Because women are scared to die more than men. So some men that have mental health, for example, a man is suffering from mental health disorder, either from bullying in school or from body shaming in the society, or from poverty. There is no work, there is no money, there is nothing to use to survive. He cannot afford the bills at home. He cannot pay children's school fees. He may develop mental health. Some men will go ahead and commit suicide. We've seen that, especially in the Western world. Many people look at the West as a place they should go to. But the mental world, the Western world, Western society, they have more prevalence of mental health illness than even the African society.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
The reason is that the society there is highly capitalistic. The bills there are high. Yes, their income is high, but the bill is high. I'll give you a good example now. You will see a modest room apartment or 2 rooms going for like $1,600. That is going to like 3 million. So that man has to be looking for up to $3,000 every month to pay bills, including house rent or mortgage, including telephone bills, including electricity, including multiple things, amenities. Also, that society is in a way that there is less bonding like we have in African society. You see, when a child gets to the age of 18 over there, he or she leaves the home, goes to settle down in his own home. So
automatically?
Not all, but by default. I know of families that once the child gets to even 16, 17, they are going. Also, most of the reasons, another Y factor in that, in America, there is a higher rate of single mothers than in Africa. More single mothers over there. And because of that, the child upbringing is not it's not complete. Yes, it is not mutualistic in nature. It is usually single mom, single dad. It's based on capitalism. Also, if we are to look at it in the spiritual way, there is no fear of God in those societies. They are doing things which are abominable. Homosexuality, high rate of lesbianism, high rate of violence, drugs, alcohol, marijuana. The West is the place I see women, especially in the US, where they are smoking marijuana, which is called Igbo. They smoke it regularly. The rate is not that common. It's less you see a woman even smoking. Women in Nigeria,
habitual.
It's habitual. That's the exact word. Drinking alcohol, smoking, taking marijuana, there are women do it. It's a norm. Many of the women do it, especially the black women.
Okay. Now, coming home now, in what ways will you say the African society is adding to mental health disorder? So in Nigeria in particular?
In Nigeria in particular, and in Africa in general, the African society has this blame game on gender, especially the women. From what I explained earlier, from gender, any problem in the house, they blame the particular gender, a woman. And also for the man, if the man cannot take responsibility of the home, if he cannot feed the society due to the economy, his minimum wage is 70,000. Some of them don't even have jobs. So because of this, the mental health condition of this kind of people in the society is really questionable. If you look at some countries like Finland, those countries, their government makes sure that an average Finnish person or European person, particularly the eastern part of Europe, they have basic amenities. Also some countries in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, their mental health is not as worse as in Africa because their government makes sure they provide for them. But in Nigeria, where the society is a bit harsh, the economy is poor, the mental health is high.
Okay, let's talk about mental health in the workplace. What's your assessment? What's your view about it?
There are three ways we are going to look at this. Okay. The first one is work balance between the employer and the employee, or the manager and the subordinates. When the manager is bullying the subordinates, many of them develop mental health. For example, the approach how some Africans, how some Nigerian boss or people who are in a privileged society address those working under them. They yell when they are communicating to them, they shout, they condemn them, they blame them, they accuse them of not being useful or successful, whereas they may not have been given a very good job description. Some of this also happens in the Western world. Let us not be deceived by thinking that it's only in Africa, especially under racial discrimination. When somebody has a white person as his manager, as the boss, as an African, particularly when you have this accent of Africa, they are going to discriminate you. They relate English with intelligence. So they believe if you cannot speak good English, you are not intelligent enough. That also can cause mental health and depression. Some people have committed suicide due to this. We have to look at another aspect of mental health at workplace is when couples are working in the same place, or when a manager, as I said, is a man and is sexually harassing a lady. She wants to do her job. She's a banker, she's an officer, she's working in the hospital, she's a nurse, and the doctor is there touching her behind her butt, touching her breast, and telling her, if you talk or you tell anybody, I'm going to make sure you lose your job, and she's scared. That also gives her mental health. So another problem, mental health, even at work, there are cases of rape even at work. Rape, when a woman is being raped and she cannot voice out.
Really?
Yes, it happens. The man tells her, okay, wait when everybody has gone home, and he forces his way into her, and she's depressed. She doesn't know what to do. If she reports to anybody, they wouldn't take it up. You see, this society,
and they don't blame her.
They blame her. Why did you dress in this way? Why did you also do this? Why are you also seducing him? Is it the police she will report to? There is a woman who had a mental breakdown. She was raped. She went to the police. The The police raped her again. She went to the hospital. The hospital also, she was harassed by a doctor.
Okay.
She had to commit suicide. So these are the kind of catastrophe we face.
Okay, to cut we'll be able to itemize forms, causes of mental health issues. How should mental health issues be handled?
Mental health issues are handled by a mental health specialist, a psychologist, a mental health, a clinical, a behavioral specialist, and anybody who is going through mental health, you need to seek counsel. You need it. Now, if it is mental health relating to sexual violence, there is a particular number which you can call, and one of the places I even saw it yesterday was in Lagos Mainland. I was very happy when I went to the chairman of Lagos Mainland local government. I saw a phone number and I called the number myself to verify, and someone picked it up and said, if you are having mental health from rape, from sexual violence, domestic violence, especially relating to sexual activities, call this number and you will get a specialist. So you need a specialist. If you are having this problem, please talk to somebody who can hear you. Don't talk to somebody that is going to worsen your situation. Unfortunately, in this society, many people worsen people's situation. There is always a way out. Suicide is not the solution. Killing yourself is not. Blaming people is not. You need somebody to.
And even blaming yourself.
Blaming yourself is not the way out. Look, I have known of some people who had mental health issues in their youth age, and they became very successful in life. There is someone who even became a minister and who had mental health issue. For modesty and just to protect the person's name, I wouldn't mention that person. But I know of somebody who was diagnosed of drug abuse, and the person still became a minister of this country. So even if you have a mental health, you can still be successful in life.
Thank you.
So, moving on. Eminent Nigerians, family and well-wishers has described the late widow of the late MKO Abiola, Dr. Doyin Abiola, as an embodiment of integrity and excellence, particularly in public good and democratic governance. This was the remains of the icon in Nigeria's journalism. Former the managing director and editor-in-chief of the defunct Concord Press of Nigeria was laid to rest in Lagos. Our correspondent has the details.
Late Dr. Doyin Abiola, matriarch of the Abiola family, was born on February 1, 1943, to William Adebayo Abuaba, raised in an environment that emphasized hard work, respect, and resilience, values she embraced from her early age. Her study, courage, and immovable border personality, exhibited behind the protagonist of June 12, have continued to be celebrated by many. This is why dignitaries from across many faiths have come to pay tribute to her memory. In his sermon, the Bishop of Lagos Mainland Anglican Communion, Right Reverend Akinpelu Johnson, said, late Doyin Abiola's legacy will stand the test of time, commending her courage to finding her way back to the church where she built her spiritual life before her demise. Some family and close associates spoke well of her strong personality in democratic governance and journalism in Nigeria.
She was a great achiever and a woman who has touched many lives in many positive ways.
And I found her to be a very wonderful person, very amiable.
And we pray that the Lord will comfort the entire family.
Her remains were later interred at a private ceremony. She died at the age of 82.
That concludes the news. Thanks for staying with us. I am Oluwabukola Akonde. A very good evening to you.